What is up, everyone? It is Diecastbuffet here again, guys. We have the 2022 Austin Hill Daytona Race Win Diecast, the first of 3 consecutive race wins at Daytona, and yes, all 3 of them got made in the 1/64 scale. I reviewed the other 2. Now it's time for the year 2022 edition. This is a pretty interesting looking car, and let's go ahead and check it out. Here we go, folks, off of the rotating base, and before we take the car out of the package, just kind of want to look at the package. So there's a lot to actually talk about with this packaging, and I'll explain why right now. It's actually different than the other ones. So this is wave 1 of 2023. This is the first ever winter circle wave ever made since they redid it. The last time they had winter circle diecast was 2010. Anyways, this portion right here where it has the Lino logo, that is not present on the other ones. And there's also a middle ribbon, I guess you could say, or kind of a cross beam in the plastic molding. And yes, I'm going to show you real quick. Let me grab another one of my Xfinity diecasts here. And notice the subtle differences. So I think this is a great design change because if you were to if you were trying to look at it, you can kind of, I don't know, it's a little bit harder to see the Austin Cindric and the Kyle Larson and such because you have the plastic molding and whatnot. That kind of distorts it a little bit. But with this, it is perfectly clean, very, very sharp. And then you can see this middle cross beam right here, which is going to give the box or the clamshell a lot more structural integrity. With this, it doesn't have it. I mean, it probably doesn't help it a lot, but I actually prefer having that extra cross beam there to give it some more structure. So that's a really good design change. So I wanted to get that out of the way, that this is technically a different clamshell packaging because it's the first wave, kind of a trial and error, if you will. Anyways, let's take a little bit of a closer look at the front. Again, you got the blue and the black gradient. That is what they've done on the other ones. So the front appears to be pretty much the same. It's just only the rear of the packaging that changed. And, well, let's go ahead and get the diecast out of the package. All right, so I got the diecast out of it. There's one little thing I wanted to point out. In terms of the diecast in this wave, the only ones that is exclusive, I think, is the Zane Smith and the Austin Hill. I think the Kyle Larson 2022 is the Fontana raced win. So I think only these 2 are the exclusives. At the time of this video, I don't have that Zane Smith 2022 Daytona raced win. So now we have the Austin Hill diecast in studio. In the 2023 and 2024 variants of this paint scheme, which won the spring or late winter Daytona race, are completely different than this one. This paint scheme looks like it looks much older than the other ones. It looks, more of an early 2010s, maybe late 2000s style of paint scheme. But regardless, it is a exclusive. This is the first wave of it. They changed the little nameplate here from this white to kind of a gold metallic sticker, which I think is a good design change. But let's go ahead and dive into it. So this is before Winter Circle started doing the printed window texture. I'll show a quick little example of it. This is the Chandler Smith car, and this is from, I think, wave 5. And you can see, obviously, a lot more detail. You have the Xfinity banner, all that good jazz. And even the rear window is detailed as well. So if you really, really wanted to, you could probably just, put a decal there or swap it out with maybe the 2024 one. I don't know how much difference they would be from the real 2022 one. I'm not sure, but it looked, a little bit better there. But regardless, at least they made that design change eventually. Now, this is interesting to me, is why is there so many scratches on this front? It almost looks symmetrical, so if I had to guess, this is simulating maybe some of the body work, and maybe it's like the front fender, because this whole fender piece can come off on the real car. I'm assuming that gap is simulating that. I could be mistaken. So you got Bennett, Transportation and Logistics, United Rentals, go to the front end of the diecast, Camaro 21, ARP, Sunoco, RCR. Go to the left side of the diecast. And the paint scheme, it really does remind me a lot of the old school cars. It's very simple, doesn't really look modern. Definitely a very simplistic paint scheme, and not in a bad way. It's just so different than a lot of the Xfinity race cars. There is a ton, and I mean a ton, of very modern paint schemes in the sport. And you can see all the, what is that, dirt? That is interesting. Yeah, it looks like a bunch of dirt is built up on the front because that doesn't look like rubber built up, which is like, dark gray or black. It actually looks kind of brown. So that kind of makes me think that might be dirt that's built up on it. Even looks like around the left rear tire fender, it looks like they might have some dirt as well. It's probably just rubber. I don't know. Anyways, I got the 21 right there. I see a small little paint chip that appears to be fixed or some sort of clear coat issue. United Rentals Global Industrial. You can see that line through it. That's what I was talking about in the front fender. How the car is, it's panels, right? Door panel, quarter panel, front and rear bumper, etc. I imagine with it being a lighter colored race twin car, you're probably going to be able to see some of those removable panels. Like you could see the rear panel here as well, which is a pretty nice detail. Got Get Bioethanol ring right there. Bennett Transportation and Logistics. Alsco. Austin Hill, NASCAR race car, Xfinity Series, Arrowhead Brass, Rookie of the Year. He was a rookie in 2022? I feel like this man has been racing a lot longer in the Xfinity Series. Got your B post decal there. A little bit of a decal oopsie-doo. Goodyear decal's a little bit off, but that actually might be realistic if the front end was kind of pushed up a little bit. That might be what it's supposed to look like. Go to the rear of the Diecast here. United Rentals, number 21. Again, rookie decals there. Okuma, Camaro. Go to the right side of the diecast. And in all honesty, this is actually a pretty clean paint scheme. If you wanted to use this as a diecast stop motion piece, you definitely could. There's no, giant panel of tape or nothing like the 2024 variant. So in all reality, you could use this as a very cool, just normal paint scheme. Another thing to note is I feel like they screwed on the diecast to the base because it's screwed on this. I feel like they did so a little too much. You could see how bent that wheel is there, and I'm trying to move the wheel, and it's not really moving too much. So it makes me kind of wonder if you were to take this diecast off the base, would it even roll? Would the wheels be compromised? Because for those who don't know, if you just press just gently enough on some of these axles, you'll bend or stress the plastic on the wheel hubs, and it will never roll the same way. Like you might as well just chunk it, right? In terms of, that axle, you have to get a new one. So I kind of wonder with these things being screwed down so tight to the base so they don't rattle and break, because that would be no good. I imagine that could affect the axle integrity of how it rolls. It's 21 right there on the roof. It's an inverted color as the door numbers are that light blue. Very nice. And you got driveforbennett.com with Global Industrial. We could supply that on the deck lid. So Austin Hill has had a very interesting run of 164s. They made his truck paint scheme, I think it was from 2020 or 2019. I think it was 2020 when he drove for Hattori. And they made that diecast. It was a clean paint scheme, nothing too fancy with it, right? Just a normal paint scheme. But they have yet to make a non-raced win Austin Hill diecast in the Xfinity Series. And I stopped to think about that. I'm like, he runs the same sponsor every week. They're clearly dedicated to him as a driver. Why don't they get a normal diecast made? It blows my mind. He's won a ton of Xfinity races. He's won Pocono, Las Vegas, Atlanta. Oh my goodness. He won another race. I forget which one it was. But he's won a ton of Daytona races. And yet they don't make a diecast for him. I don't understand that. Like, I think he won Homestead in 2024 as well. And yet they don't get just normal, clean, just a Austin Hill paint scheme. They made Jesse Love's car for 2024, the clean version. So I'm kind of curious, why don't they make the normal clean variant? I don't know. It's interesting. It's a mystery. And here's the trading card that comes with it. It's the Beef It's What's for Dinner 300 Champion. As a carnivore, I need plenty of protein, so I definitely like to see the Xfinity race named after that. It's kind of funny, you get Adam Alexander. He's like, it's Beef It's What's for Dinner 300 on FS1. And as a carnivore, you need protein and all that stuff for working out. I freaking eat a ton of beef. You got Austin Hill right there. You got the car in the background doing the good old burnout. And you have the trophy right there. I think in Victory Lane, if I remember correctly, they have like I think it's like some giant like steak or something, a ribeye steak. I don't know what it was, tomahawk steak. And then they had like a cooler right? And it's kind of partially open. It's like kind of like the Craftsman toolbox. But anyways, they had that in Victory Lane. I think that was a pretty cool sponsor placement. They did one of the Xfinity years. It might have done it in 2022. February 19th, 22, Daytona Beach, Florida. Go to the back end of it. It's pretty cool. You can see Austin Hill celebrating. That was his first ever Xfinity race win. Margin of victory under caution. Very, very cool. 6 cautions at Daytona is actually really low. I mean, you think about it. 120 laps. You got 2 stage breaks. Okay. Only 6 cautions? I feel like that is mad low. And I'll show you an example. Let me grab, where is it? Right here. This Chandler Smith race win card. Explain to me how Richmond has the same amount of cautions as Daytona. Richmond. Yeah, that track. I watched both of the races. I think this one must have been a little bit more cleaner, unless one of those wrecks like knocked out like, I don't know, 80% of the field or something. That's all for now, guys. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Have a blessed one. Diecast Buffet, signing off.